Tune into Nice Radio every Saturday at 7:30 a.m. for A View from the Outside, hosted by Brereton Horne. A View from the Outside takes a look at key issues affecting St Vincent and the Grenadines and gives a global perspective on how these issues are viewed. Host Brereton Horne will examine a variety of topics to enlighten, stimulate debate, and explore solutions. Hear the facts, hear the real-life stories, hear A View from the Outside. Join Brereton Horne at 7:30 a.m. every Saturday on Nice Radio for A View from the Outside.
Yes, on A View from the Outside this week. This week, being the 9th of February 2019, we look at emotion, E-M-O-T-I-O-N, emotion, with the view being that with emotions running high on a number of issues in St Vincent and the Grenadines, much more attention needs to be paid by the government to assuage Vincentians to prevent the country from descending into utter despair. The Oxford Dictionary defines emotion as a strong feeling deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others. The strong feeling referred to in the definition could be, among other things, a feeling of anger, a feeling of despair, a feeling of disappointment. The strong feeling can be manifested in different ways, such as some people remain stoic and continue with life with a stiff upper lip, as the English say, or biting their lip, as is said colloquially. Others burst into tears and cry uncontrollably, while others remain outwardly calm despite the fact that the devastation of their circumstances is swirling around inside them. There is no telling how anyone will react at any moment when their emotions get the better of them. This week's view is triggered by what transpired at the press conference held by the St Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, February 2019. The press conference was held to celebrate the victory, or their victory, and to enlighten the public on the judgment of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court of Appeal in the case of the three teachers, Elvis Daniel, Addison Bash Thomas, and Kenroy Johnson as appellants, and the Public Service Commission and the Attorney General as respondents. It is now common knowledge that the Court of Appeal overturned the judgment of Justice Brian Cutler, who had ruled in the High Court that the case of the three teachers was entirely hopeless. In short, the Court of Appeal cast aside that judgment and ruled resoundingly in favor of the three teachers. Among those present at the press conference were two of the three teachers, Kenroy Johnson and Addison Bash Thomas. The audience was told that Elvis Daniel was unavoidably absent. When Kenroy Johnson spoke, he mentioned the emotion which he evidently was trying to subdue. Emotion which was swirling around inside of him. Even the heartless would be moved with the emotion by listening to Kenroy Johnson. Kenroy Johnson indeed evoked emotion. He spoke of his gratitude to the Teachers Union and its leadership, his legal team, his family, and the outpouring of support from his many friends and well-wishers. He spoke of the betrayal by the government which caused him to rely on a collective agreement which the government reneged on. He spoke of feeling hopeless. He spoke of feeling hurt and of feeling pain and guilt in believing that he had let down and betrayed his family. Here's a snippet of what he said, and I quote, "If you sense some emotion in my voice, it is because it was entirely difficult for me and my family. It was very tough, emotionally and mentally, to live with the realization that everything that I had worked for in terms of benefits for some 39 years had hopelessly gone down the drain. There were even those crazy moments when I felt that I had let down my family, my daughter and my wife, unquote. Bash Thomas also spoke, and he too expressed his gratitude for the unwavering support of the teachers' union and his legal team, and for the overwhelming support from his friends and family and well-wishers. There is no doubt that those crazy moments which Kenroy Johnson spoke about are being experienced by many others in St Vincent and the Grenadines. There's no doubt also that those crazy moments are primarily triggered by the actions of the government. There's no doubt that crazy moments, such emotion overwhelm you when you listen to those who speak on behalf of the government talk about appealing the judgment of the Court of Appeal in the case of these three teachers. Many believe that in addition to spending thousands and thousands of taxpayers' money, your money, any such appeal would represent a continued onslaught of a spiteful government on the citizens of the country, citizens who the government is meant to protect. Ironically, any such appeal would have to be to the Privy Council, a court which the same government has actively sought to end appeals to. If there is an appeal and the government loses, then that decision will be precedent resounding around the entire Commonwealth. There is no doubt also that those crazy moments, those angry feelings, such emotion emerge when there is talk from the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, of him still being persuaded by the judgment of Justice Cuttle, which has been overruled by the Court of Appeal. As it stands, the judgment of Justice Cuttle has absolutely no teeth, no strength, no bearing. It has no force. Unless a higher court, in this case, the Privy Council, if there's an appeal, overrules the Court of Appeal judgment, then it is that judgment of the Court of Appeal which stands and the one which holds sway, not Justice Cuttle's judgment. The story of Bigger Biggs no doubt continues to exemplify and evoke the crazy moments and such emotion. Bigger Biggs, no doubt, has had his own crazy moments and probably still continues to have his crazy moments. He sounds like a broken man, all because of the actions of the government which callously, and in the words of Bigger Biggs himself, spitefully destroyed his multi-million-dollar business. The government continues to pursue and harass him, thus preventing him from having the peace, security, and quiet enjoyment of his property at Rabocar. The latest in the chapter is that Bigger Biggs had to place a 40-foot container at the entrance of his property to prevent trespass, unwarranted entry, and further destruction. Bigger Biggs is just another one of the many examples showing that the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is being high-handed with its citizens. We, on A View from the Outside, truly hope that the situation with Bigger Bigs does not escalate further. We urge the government of St Vincent and the Grenadines to do the responsible thing and to settle the matter with Bigger Bigs amicably. Those crazy moments, those emotions are no doubt swirling around inside of thousands of unemployed, of the thousands of unemployed in the country, especially the near 50% of jobless and unemployed youths. Youths who gaze into a dismal future. Youths, including frustrated university graduates who have spent thousands and thousands of dollars for their education and who are now probably wondering what else they need to do to find work. There is no doubt that those crazy moments, those emotions of anger and disappointment perhaps, are evoked in the minds of thousands of Vincentians when you listen to the allegations of corruption, the contempt, and the disrespect in the Parliament of St Vincent and the Grenadines. There is no doubt that those crazy moments, such emotions, are engulfing thousands of Vincentians who know of your own frustration and experience regarding the poor state of health care in the country. Yet you are bombarded with falsities about how great the health care in the country is. You know about the shortage of basic medication and supplies around and throughout the country. Yet, when you provide factual proof, you are rebuffed and denigrated. You are the ones whose relatives have suffered unbearably in trying circumstances. You are the ones who carry the burden and the emotions. You are the ones who know what your true situation is. And so, when you carry those emotions, let no one try to tell you that your emotions are not real. Those crazy moments, such emotion, no doubt beset you when you see the heavy-handed, oppressive, and ruthless way the establishment in the country set out to destroy and to some extent cause the destruction of the young model Yogi Farrell. No doubt such emotion also exists in relation to a group called Parliament Girls. This group is allegedly a prostitution ring made up of young ladies who are allegedly people trafficked, primarily for the purpose of selling their bodies to men in the echelons of society to survive financially. No doubt such emotions overtake you when you are informed that people trafficking or human trafficking has taken root in the country, and yet there continues to be denial and excuses. No doubt such emotions overtake you when you are aware that the young lady, Zinga, who was on that infamous sex tape, who had ramen noodles for dinner, had to flee the country for her own protection and safety, while the male who is alleged to be on that tape continues in his opulence with the vaingloriousness and pomposity of a popinjay. There is no doubt also that many of you are overcome by such emotions when you see the rule of law in the country continues to be undermined and eroded. When you see the unfairness and injustice being meted out to your relatives, friends, and neighbors. When you see the blatant refusal of government, of their government, to provide accountability to you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. No doubt, because of your emotions, you want to scream with anger, fear, or disappointment, and you want to scream when those emotions seize you. We, on A View from the Outside, have similar emotions to yours, and we share the pain and disappointment. And so, we urge all of you, our fellow Vincentians, we urge all of you not to suppress your emotions, not to numb your emotions, but to make them known so that you can contribute to effecting change in our blessed land, thus avoiding catastrophic consequences. Let us do so by bearing in mind the words of the Swiss psychologist and psychoanalyst Carl Gustav Jung, who said, "There can be no transforming of darkness into light and of apathy into movement without emotion." Until next week, Randy and all of the listeners, this is Brereton Horne with A View from the Outside, with a reminder to send your feedback, as usual, to aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. That's aviewfromtheoutside@hotmail.com. We also invite you to visit our Facebook page at A View from the Outside, and also to visit our YouTube channel at JMB Horne. Have a pleasant Saturday, a wonderful Sunday, and a productive week ahead, where you're not afraid to show those emotions. All the best to you, Randy, and to the listeners.
Thank you.